10 o'clock. Welcome everybody to another weekly session. Again, let's go over the rules quickly. If you're first time, welcome. If you're a returnee, you can tune out for a second. But in general, what we're going to be presenting is my analysis on a couple of different futures assets. Again, this is my own analysis. This is not a recommendation to buy or sell anything. Anything you decide to trade is your own risk. That being said, what I will do is walk you through some different time frames and different levels and things that I'll be looking to trade this coming week, what my intentions are, what to expect. And I will pause for questions in between assets. You can raise your hand and I will call on you. All right, don't be shy. All right, that being said, let's get right down to work. Everybody wants to know what the hell is going on here. As far as the markets are concerned, we all know that a week and a half or 2 weeks back, we had that really nice sell-off. And then it looks sort of like, you know, we've got this buy the dip one more time type of thing, and we should be expecting new highs, but I don't think that's what's really going to happen this time. First of all, take a look on the weekly chart. It looks really nice, you know, we bounced back down here, right? But at the end of the day, we're looking at 2 weeks in a row of inside candles, okay? Each one is inside the prior week. We really didn't go anywhere. This week was just a washout, okay? It's 5 days of sideways action, okay? Yeah, at the end of Friday, there was a really nice rally, which I'll talk about in a minute when we get to the lower time frames. But at the end of the day, I'm still seeing a lower high here. And if you have to ask me where this is going, it's going down. It's not going up. We're not going to see new highs. Maybe we get a little bit above here slightly. There's another level up on a little bit of a smaller time frame, but that's about it. When I open up the 240 chart, you're going to see what I'm talking about. But there is really not much as far as upside potential. If you're asking me, you can notice that the supply zone that we started this little sell-off out of over here, right, didn't really get too far into the zone. Right? We sold off a little more. We did make a little of a higher low over here, cleaning out some of the demand, right? We're going to come back into the level. There's still fresh supply here, and it's this big ass supply, okay? So do we get through that zone? Unlikely. Potentially, yes, maybe. We're not going through 2,800. There's no chance whatsoever. And, you know, I would give it better than 80% odds that we fail here. We don't even get here, okay? And we're just going to make new lows. There are new lows coming, and the target is 2450. That's what we're looking at, okay? So we're talking about 300 plus points down from where we are on ES, and it isn't going to take that long to get there. It could happen this week. Will it start selling off this week? Absolutely believe so. Will we get to the final target this week? Not sure yet. I need to see what happens as we start breaking down through here, but the target is down here, 2450. I'm going to go into that zone down here. There's a little gap down there. There's this whole area over here. I think this is 2,500, this whole topping pattern over here. And then right underneath it is this zone over here. I'm going to zoom in and show you what I'm talking about. You know, if you do the fibs and stuff like that, the fib retracements, that's the 100% fib retracement from the last leg down. And that's where it wants to go. And that's where it should be getting to. And I believe we're going to see it, you know, if not this week, all the way down there. For sure, we're pushing on the lows, and then, you know, next week we're down here. That's what I'm looking at over here. I want to zoom into this sucker over here. Give me a second while I do that. Here we go. This is the area we're focusing on as far as the target on the way down. And you can see there's this little gap over here, around 2460-ish or so, right? Right inside this sucker. And then 2450 is this demand zone right here. Okay, and it's where we started up this move up, and then we back tested it over here a little bit, and then we just went. So, you know, somewhere inside this range. I don't think we see 2,400 on this leg down. I think we land somewhere over here, and major buy. New highs will come from here. We're not crashing and turning the whole market upside down, blah blah. At least yet, we will get to soon. You know, new highs, all-time highs. I believe yes. Just not from where we are now, okay? And that's for sure not. We're going to get a big-ass sell-off first down here, and then sometime later, maybe towards the summer, we'll be back up there again, and then we'll figure out what's going to happen when we get there. But for now, you know, I'm looking at 2450. That's my target. Okay, let's get rid of this. Zoom out of this sucker, and let's move on. Anybody have an ES question yet? Cool. All right, so let's go into the lower time frame and let me just tell you what I think happened over here. Okay. We know the Fed's been, starting to unwind their balance sheet a little bit. All right, and they're trying to get rid of some of their, assets they've been buying in QE for God knows how long, right? And the last time they sold off, a nice chunk was the crash 2 weeks ago, and then they started selling off again late this week. Okay, Wednesday, Thursday, I think it was, and what happened this time, I think, is that the big guys realized that this is going to crash again, and they started stopping every short out. That's what we saw on Friday. When we cleared the supply zone over here, we had a little supply zone sitting over here. I took it off because we traded through it, but it was right here. If you go back and look at last week. And we were banging around this sucker. Once we got through that thing, they just smelled, let's just stop all the shorts out. They may be gunning for this, pivot up here. There's some more stops up there, but this is the fake out. This is get everybody leaning long. Let's get them over there. Anybody who was already short, we're going to stop these guys out. We're just going to bull rush them at the end of the day on Friday in the last hour of the day. We're going to just take everyone's stops. And then we're going to run this thing the other way because that's where it's going to go. Because when the Fed is pulling liquidity out of the market by selling off the assets, they're taking money from the banks. That's what they do it. Who's buying all the Fed assets? The big banks. It means they're giving the money back to the Fed. Okay. You guys, if anyone's having sound issues, please let me know. As far as I can tell over here, I have not heard any problems. If you're having a sound issue, it's your internet. Okay. So. Thank you, David. So, the banks, big banks are giving their money back to the Fed. That's taking money out of the system, okay? And that dries up liquidity. And when liquidity dries up, people can't buy stocks, right? They don't have the extra funds around. They can't get margin. They can't get loans. They can't get whatever the hell it is. And that's why the market starts selling off, okay? And that's what we're going to see, okay? That's what we're going to see, I think, coming this week. This was the bull run. This was the stop out. We're going to stop everybody, get them looking like it's bullish, right? Because it looks back on the lower time frame like we're sort of breaking out. It looks like we want to get out of here and break up from where we are, right? Looking over here like this little bull flag, and we're looking at it on the 240. Where was it here? Even on the daily chart, right? It looks like a bull flag over here. There's my pen here, right? Look like it wants to go this way. We're going to make all-time highs. Most of this move came Friday afternoon, okay? And it really didn't get through the 240 supply zone. I think we see a hard reversal starting even tomorrow, and that's it. They're going this way. They already know it. They're just positioning themselves for it, getting everybody out of the way first, and they start pounding this thing on Monday, okay? Let's see what happens, but that's what my hypothesis is working this week right now, and I think we're going to see these, at least the Fed lows tested. And once we get through there, 2,700 basically, we're looking at 2,450. That's what it comes down to. If we start breaking out under here, it's over. There's just nothing after that, and it's just all new lows on the way. Okay, so keep your eye. There's going to be a big run out. If you don't have sound, someone type in the box and tell them to click on the telephone icon. Okay, let's look at NQ. Again, the hypothesis here is the same, even though NQ looks even a little bit more bullish, right? Because over here, we actually did break out of the top, right? When we look over here, we did get above the highs, right? And this is starting to look like a flag breakout, right? NQ is stronger the whole week over ES. Thank you, Lena. And, the weekly candles are looking great, right? There's still some supply up here. Are we getting through the top? No, we're not, okay? We're going to turn over just like we're going to turn over on ES, and NQ is going to fall actually harder than ES. So, again, the level down here, I'm looking at like 6,000, I think it was, around at 6,000 on the way down. Where's my zone? I had it marked off. Actually, I put it on the daily chart down there. There we go. Okay, yeah, it's on the daily. Okay, take a look at the 100% fib retracement. So now we actually got a little higher, right? When we did this last week, okay, we were assuming that this was the high candle. We actually got to here now. Okay, and I'm saying this is still the back test, which means that on the way retracement now we're looking at is here. Okay, so still within the range. We're looking at 6,000 basically down here. This is the zone. You can see it. And that would be exactly 100% fib from here to here, and that's where we're going this week. Okay, I would say again we're going to start to test the lows, and I think we really do see 6,000 coming this week for NQ. So major sell-off, 1,000 NQ points. Okay, not Dow points, NQ. Okay, so we're talking about major move for the Dow. Right, and that's what we're looking at over there. Again, that would be my exit on any shorts. That's the level to look for, and a potential bounce to start, bouncing back to new all-time highs from that level down there. But won't be buying long this week. We're going to wait for make sure that the bottom is in before we start doing that. But right now, I'm looking shorts all the way. Let's look at NQ on the lower time frame for a minute. So, looks like my scaling got a little messed up there. I'll fix that. Okay, there we go. All right, and this is again the rush out on Friday. We bang it out through all these highs back here, and we just move everybody out of the way. And we're coming into some supply up here. You can see it up there, that 69.40 to 60 area up there. And again, maybe we should be able to get up there because we're pretty much in the air over here on NQ. And we roll over, and again, the crash is starting. And I mean, not the crash. It's pushing down into new lows, and we back up and again into the summertime. We'll be testing the new all-time highs again. So for now, totally leaning short. I think everything we're seeing here is a fake out. Okay. And we'll know within a day or two. If we start breaking through the top, then obviously I'm wrong. Okay, but I don't think it's happening. That doesn't make sense for what's going on. Okay, that is my analysis on NQ and ES, and same for IW. If you're trading the Russell, you're trading the Dow, it's all the same. There is no difference. The markets are ready to give back much more than when they've bounced so far. Okay, question. Looks like Nitin has a question. Yes, go ahead.
Joe, can you just maybe quickly in 30 seconds repeat what the Feds, how the impact of Feds are? I'm pretty new to this, so I would like to understand.
Yes, so what the Fed is doing now is they're selling off, the assets they've been purchasing, right? Who the hell are they selling them to? Who has that kind of money to buy all these bonds that the Feds have been purchasing for the last 10 years? Well, it's only the big banks that have that, right?
Okay.
Right? So the big banks are giving their money to the Fed, which means it isn't in the bank anymore, right? They don't have the money to lend you anymore. They give it back. So that's how the Fed removes liquidity from the market, right? They sell off their assets, and they put the money back into the Fed's account as opposed to in the bank account. So therefore, there's not enough funds around for the bank to lend you and do everything that you want to do. And that is actually, they're actually selling. They're not rolling over. Yeah, Dennis. If you go look at the Fed balance sheet, Dennis, you'll see that when we had the crash, it was like 2 weeks ago, they sold off about $20 billion worth of assets. And then starting this past Wednesday, they sold off about another 23 or 24 billion worth of assets. And that happens by, again, they're selling them to the big banks, to the big insurance companies, to the big guys that are going to hold on to this, these bonds for a long time till maturity. And that takes liquidity out of the market, okay? And that's what's going on here. So the banks realize that because they're the guys buying, and I think that's why they did it. They went in for that stop run on Friday, just get everybody leaning long, and then they are going to crush everybody that is long, and they've already stopped up the shorts. So that's what's happening. I think we're going to see a major reversal starting tomorrow, okay? Okay, cool. Next, Naranjan, what's up, brother?
Hey, Joe.
Yeah.
Hey, how are you?
Good. What's up?
Hey, on the ES and the NQ, I understand you're looking for, a lower high on the daily.
Yes.
But right now, there is no candlestick pattern or anything on the daily chart, to confirm. So would it be better to take a shot after a twin tower or an engulfing or some candlestick on the daily?
I agree with you on the daily. Yes, you don't have the pattern yet. But the crash is going to come really hard and fast when it comes. By the time the daily candle's there, you're going to miss most of the trade. So I'd much rather you see the trade on a smaller time frame than the daily, something like the 60.
Okay.
Okay. We already have an uptrend going on the 60 with the higher lows and higher highs. You get that first lower high, don't wait because it's not coming back.
I see. Okay.
Okay.
Got it.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you.
Good. No problem. Okay. I'm moving on. Okay. Moving on to crude. Let's go into the crude. Actually, I have them out of order over here. Here's the higher time frame. Okay, starting up here on the daily chart. take a look. I'm skipping over the weekly just because it's really more important where we are on the daily chart. You could see that the top was there. We sold off, and we just came back to the breakout test. That's what we did over here. We're testing this breakout. We've hit the demand underneath, which was these prior highs, and we bounced back. And this level where we're at right now is going to hold. Okay, and we're going to see this 55. From 55. Major breakout. We're going through the top. We'll be 70, 75. Who the hell knows by the time we get there? We'll talk about it. But for now, we should see reversal out of crude coming over here. We're going to produce a lower high on the daily chart. We're going to break this. We're going to end up down here, and then we'll talk about the massive move up. So, from this level, there's still a major short. Okay. If we start to look at that on the lower time frames, could see where we are. Like if you look at the daily charts right now I did that. I showed you the level we're sitting at. I mean, you could look at the weekly chart and see that, again, we're just back testing this area right here. It's going to make a lower high. We should get something like twins this week, and then, down into the demand zone. That's the 55 level, and then we make a new high. That's what we're looking for. Okay. So pull back out of this zone. Okay. And what do we got in the lower time frames? Let's take a look. We know that the last couple of days, crude had a really nice rally, pretty much all week. But Thursday and Friday were pretty powerful moves, right? This was Thursday, and then overnight, and then bang on Friday, big nice move. Beautiful supply sitting right here, right? We're already in it in the daily chart because the level's starting down here. But on the 240, a little bit more to go. It looks to be right around 64. You can see there was the prior low over there. If I bring in the rest of the chart, you'll see that that's the middle of this topping pattern up here, and then we break out right from here, and then big sell-off. We're going to touch this sucker maybe tonight, maybe tomorrow, and then it's just bang. We're going right through the bottom. Okay, so there's a beautiful supply zone sitting up there, and to take a look when it gets up there, you might want to think about getting short. Okay, let's look at the 60. Okay, there we go. And you could see nice strong uptrend still. Okay, and therefore, if you're going to be short, you don't want to do it yet. You want to wait until this turns over. There's the short level up there at 64 and change. That's it. On the 60 chart, you want to be a little more aggressive. It's over here. You want a little less aggressive over here. The distal line is 64.29. That's what it comes down to. It's right around 64, okay? And we pop into that probably, and then we start, that's where we start the descent. But the descent won't be immediate. It'll be, a nice steady reversal pattern where we go like this, and then we get the lower high, and then boom, 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 boom after that, right? So you can wait for that first lower high, and then you can start getting short. Okay? You don't need to wait for the whole trend to flip because it isn't getting through here, okay? All right, once that happens, we can start getting short. Look, remove your risk, and let your trade work out. This can be a beautiful swing trade. We're looking at 55 for a target, $8 plus per contract. Okay, so if you can catch it at the top up here, it'll take you a couple of weeks, and you'll see 55. All right, that's crude. Anybody have a question? Cool. Go into gold. So, I don't know why my charts are out of order over here. So here's gold. And I've been talking to you guys about this. Hey, Eddie. What's up, bro? Look who's back. My man. What's up, Ed?
Hi, Joe.
How you doing, buddy?
Question. Back on gold.
On gold? I didn't go. Back on crude, you mean?
I mean, sorry, crude. Yeah. You got the gold.
No problem. Go ahead.
When you're looking at the weekly.
Yeah.
I'm trying to find what is it that's telling you that there's a reversal coming.
What the daily level is telling me there's a reversal coming. First of all, I'll give you, we're in this monthly supply area up here, and we didn't have a reaction. We have one breakout over here with no back test yet. We got the first level of demand hit on the weekly, and then we back tested and landed inside the daily. Right? And, based on what I'm seeing here, we need to test this area before we can get through this stuff. We're not going through 70 all the way from 50 without a back test study. Come on, you know that, right? So there's got to be a test, which means we have to come backwards and test this area. This is like 50 change right here where we broke out over here. So this should produce a lower high. Now, you can't see it here because this is very bullish looking candles, but look where we landed. Look right here, right? So this level should react right here. Okay, we should get a reaction here, and that's telling me that when this starts to pull over, I would expect that the weekly next week we should see twins here. That's what I'm thinking.
I'm not thinking you're not going to get a reaction, but I think before before it turns negative, wouldn't you have to break that 60-75 level to confirm that?
60-75 level. 60. This thing over here. Are you talking about this one? This one?
Look at your daily.
Oh, this one over here. That's the same level. It's this thing over here.
Right.
Yeah, sure. Of course, we're going to get a reaction off of something like that. Absolutely. But this will be a lower high on the daily chart after we've already confirmed the top. Here's the confirmation of the top. Lower high, breakdown, back test to the breakout. This level shouldn't do anything other than pause. That's what you should see.
To confirm this, a 60 or a 240?
60. 60. Yeah, 60. Look for the 60 over here. The 240 level I showed you, it's really pretty. It's a really pretty zone, but the 60 is a little bit tighter, right? Because of these candles back here, these two. So really fresh. It's right around 64. It's a magic number also, right? Big round number. I can't imagine that we're really going through the top from here. It doesn't make any sense. You know what I mean? Cool. Okay, no problem. All right, next. Crude we just talked about. Let's go to gold. Okay, so we got gold going on over here, and we're looking at, right, the sell-off from here, right, last week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks ago. We back test, we put the lower high, and then we get a Harami candle this week. Right? So on the daily, that's looking like this. Push off, sell off, lower high, and then a continuation, which means this level, this is what's, Eddie, this is what crude's going to look like. We're going to bang around through the zone that you're looking at over there and put a pause like this, and then we're going to pop through the bottom. That's what's going to happen with gold. If you look on the 240, we're sitting in the air right here. There's nothing. This wick cleaned out whatever nonsense was here. We're just banging around a little bit. This looks like a head and shoulders, but it's a fake out. It's going down, not up. Okay, we're going to take out the bottom over here, and we're looking at, bottom of this coming out, and therefore there's air underneath all that. So again, for now, 1250, 1260, that's what I'm looking at here. 1300 is a given this week. No doubt we're going to see 1300, and 1250 after that. So gold, don't be long. Don't want to be long. It's already showing a lot of weakness here. If you take a look at the 60, a really nice supply zone. If we hit this thing, I just don't think twice. If we get here, you're going to get a beautiful short. I don't even think we're going to get there, but it might just pop up in the middle of the night or something like that. We're just stuck here. It looks like a head and shoulders, again, inverted, but not showing any strength whatsoever. We'll be come back to the level again after we hit it a few times already. This thing breaks, and then we're under here, and there's air under here. Look to the left. There's the wick, right? So there's nothing under that, and then that's it. We're at 1300. That's the chart is saying. Okay, so gold, $1,300 is the target for this coming week. Okay. Alrighty, that guess. If you have a gold question, raise your hand. Really important. Look down here. Okay, there's the beginning of that reversal, right? We'll go evening star, or whatever the hell you want to call it. Oops, wrong chart. What did I do? There we go. Down here, we got the evening star, right? And we start to rally out of that sucker, and we're just looking at air. There's nothing up here at all. Just air and more air and more air. Okay? Take a look on the daily. I'm going to blow it up, and we're going to see that this bottom is starting to hold already. There we go. Boom. We got a really nice look. We took out the bottom over here, so we stopped that. All these guys over here, they're gone. We gapped down after the rollover, right? And then we get this is a new rollover we had this week, but the bottom is in. Boom, boom, boom. We rally up. We're hitting through the supply zone, and we're chopping through it now. A couple of days of bang bangs, and then gone. We're history. I think this week's target for now is around 270, something like that. There's a level on this 240 chart that I'm looking at for the upside. Here it is. Let me go back there to 240. Sorry. There we go. Boom, boom. There we go. That's the level. Okay. So here's the 240. You can see the bottom down here. You can see the rally into the supply that was here. You can see the higher low that's been formed. You can see that we're banging up, and now we come back to here. There's nothing left. This is the level that we're looking at. For now, that's the target. Okay. I expect another higher low after that thing, and then just after that is all air. Look above it. There's nothing there for another 100 ticks. So it's like bang, bang, boom. That's what we're looking for. All right, and so that guess is definitely a long, and we're looking for a minimum of 775, I would say, for this week. Okay, depending on how fresh we get there. We know that nat gas supposed to gap on Sunday nights. It very well may gap up 50, 60, 100 even sometimes and go right into the zone from where we are. This is 100 ticks from where we closed. It's very possible we see this, tonight type of thing. And if we do, you'll probably get a reaction in the morning with a little back test by the first back test, because if we get a 100-tick gap up, it's going up 300-400 this week. Okay. Malik has a question. Yeah, man, what's up?
Hey, Joe, how are you?
Good, hey, buddy.
Good. Can you go back to the daily nat gas?
Mm-hmm.
Wanted to understand how you draw your the supply zone at 281. I drew a supply zone at the week right below that.
891. Like, this one here.
Yeah.
This one here. This one.
I have mine at the doji right before, and I'm expecting.
Okay, so the doji right before this thing you mean?
Yeah.
This here.
Yeah, to me it goes inside of that and then makes a lower high.
Yeah, there's a level here. I think I drew this. That's the level I drew out on the 240. That's the target. Okay, that's the 240 zone. It's the same zone. Look, that level that you're talking about is right under the 28 number, right? That's the 240 zone. It's very clear exactly where it is on 240, right?
So can you explain the 2891, the one above? I don't understand how you drew this one.
I'll go back there for you in a second, but this is the level that you're talking about, right?
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Okay, when you look at it over here, it's much clearer than the daily chart. You got all those wicks. You don't know where the zone is, right?
Yeah.
This is really simple. It's right there. Sweet, right? Got it? Okay, so let's go back and look at the other one. No problem. Okay, so knowing that level that I just ignored on my daily chart is over here, right? Then where's the next level after that? Okay, so I'm looking at this gap, right, as the next, distal line, really. That's what I'm looking at. See this inside here? So it's the wick, and then the leg in is giving me the top of this candle, but I'm not ignoring the gap, so I'm picking up the gap.
Got it.
Wick against the wall here. This would be the leg in, but then I'm not putting my distal line here with a gap right on top of me, so there you go. Okay?
Okay, all right. Understood.
All right, cool. No problem. All right, next. Oops. Okay. Go back to that. Okay. And moving on. So nat gas is a long. We're looking at 2.7 plus for the current target, depending on what happens tonight. Cool. Quickly, just overview on the dollar, and we can see that the dollar is starting to rally. No question about that. We've held the bottom over here. You can see we had that evening star reversal again over there 2 weeks back. Then we back tested it, actually stopped everybody out, shot out of there, and now we're getting the bullish twins starting again. On the daily, that looks like a double bottom. There's the middle of the double bottom. We're almost there, and by definition, double bottoms will usually retrace to the origin of their move. If this is the middle, the origin of the move is up here. Therefore, we're going to 92 plus. Okay, and we're going to pop through this thing. This zone over here will break, and we'll end up all the way up here. Okay, so the dollar's got some strength coming to it this week. Should be a pretty strong rise once we get through this middle piece over here. All right, there's one little blip there that might give a chance for some of the currencies for an entry, right? Because we got this little sucker over here, and then we got this zone back here, which is just this section. So we pull through here, back test, and then boom, up into this 92 area where this is really where the best supply is really sitting up here. All right, so looking for strength coming in the dollar, which means weak gold, weak euro, right? Weak just about every currency except the yen, which we'll talk about when we get there in a minute. So EC, okay, there it is on the weekly. Okay, for you guys that like to trade EC, similar upside down, right? Exactly the opposite of the dollar. This is 1.2. That's what's coming now. Okay, there's the double top on the daily. There's the middle. The origin of the move is over here, 1.2. That's where it wants to go. Okay, it's got a lot of weakness on the 240. There's a beautiful supply zone over here. Should it get there, it shoots up in there for some reason. Don't think twice. I would be shorting the hell out of that. But I don't think it's getting there. And you can see it's just dribbling. It's going to come back to this zone, and it's not going to hold. We're going to go. That's this zone in the middle, and some smaller time frame supply zone will give you a chance into this trade. Underneath the middle of this daily two, right? There's all air here. There's nothing here. Straight drop down to 1.2. So So that's the target for EC. Take a look over here. We're sitting inside this tremendous wedge. It's a beautiful supply zone up there. And again, this is if we hit 124 for some reason, short. But again, I don't know that we get in there. We could see that we're just banging around over here, chewing through whatever garbage is underneath us, and it is garbage because underneath here, there's really not much after that. This wick, just pay attention to the location, because this wick over here, we're going to start to see on some of the other currencies, is we're not back. We can see that the euro is already underneath that move. The other currencies are not yet through there. Okay, but the euro already is, and it's starting to break down even a little quicker than some of the others. I'm very bearish for the euro this week. Again, the target is going to be 1.2. Okay, any questions so far? Cool. Everybody's good. Okay, good. Well, yen is looking pretty strong, really nice over the last couple of days, and you can see we're testing the top of the wedge again on the monthly. It's on the weekly chart. We've back over here, rally base rally, right? And we take out the top over there after the little pullback from here, and then we go boop, and then I think we're going to start to pop through this, especially because I'm expecting a massive sell-off in the equities. We know that the yen is looked at sort of like a safe haven, and I think we start to see some stronger moves in the yen. That being said, it won't be as strong as normal, only because I expect the dollar, to rally as well. So sort of like negating a little bit how strong the yen will be. There's room for the yen to rally back to the highs, yeah. A little bit through the highs, probably. Much more than that, maybe not. But, there's the higher low in the daily chart. The trend is clearly up, right? We should be getting through the top over here, back through the top. Not so interested in trading the long yen. I'm much more interested in trading the short equities, okay? You can see that on the lower time frames, it's been respecting its levels pretty much, right? The demand that started back here, held over here, held over here. We're making these higher lows, higher highs, higher lows, higher lows. And we're just chewing our way through this thing, and it's going to keep on doing that. So I don't expect too much of major quick moves. There will be higher moves for the yen, but not something I'm really looking to trade this week. Personally, I'm just going to ignore it, to be honest with you. There's too many other good stuff to worry about the yen. Okay. Aussie. Crash time. Okay, so Aussie is going to be falling considerably this week. We know for two reasons. First of all, the dollar is going to be strong, and second of all, gold is going to be weak, and Aussie is pretty correlated with gold as well. 76, that's what we're looking for. Should be breaking this low. We're already back to it. We have the lower high in place. We're coming right back to this area. This should break, and we end up over here someplace. So about 200 and change down for Aussie is what I'm looking at over here for this week coming. All right, you can see that this is starting to, that will flip the trend on the daily chart, by the way, right? So for now, Aussie shorts would be the better trade. But take a look on the 60. The trend, yeah, it's still down. We were respecting this for quite some time, and it just popped up a little bit. We were still below the last pivot over there, just chewing through some nonsense demand underneath us. And take that off now. We're done with that. So long is not what you want to be for Aussie. Okay, we're looking for Aussie shorts down into 76 and change. Okay, cool. Everybody good? Good. Pounds. So the pounds got stuck up here on the daily chart. You could see the little downtrend going on over here. As far as the trend line is concerned, we also have the lower high over here in place. And again, we're coming back to the level, and we know the dollar's going to have strength. This thing's going to pop again, and we end up down here. So 135, 136 for the pounds is what we're looking at over here. You can look over here. There's so much air underneath this wick, right? The level down there, 137 and change, or whatever. We're going to get deep into that sucker. We'll get into this thing over here. We should be getting through that. This actually is this level over here, and this on the 240. I'll open it up. We should be getting through that because we already have lower highs in place, so we should break that zone, and we should be looking at something even lower than that. Okay, I'm going to open up the chart. We'll take a look at it here. Yeah, zoom out a little bit. There's the lower highs in place. And underneath the wick, look what's under the, look at that pocket of air. Oh yeah, Let's bring it 136. That's the zone. This thing should break down for us over here. We have multiple lower highs over here already on the chart. We break through that. There's nothing underneath it. Zip, zip, zip. Love the short over here. We can catch this on a little time frame over here. You ride this from 1.9 to 1.3, 139 to 136. Sweet, sweet trade. Okay, looks really great, really good. So we're going shorts BP. Is there an entry some other small time frame? Well, looks like our little time frame supply demand zones have been pretty accurate over here. It really started here. We hit it once. We hit it twice. The demand is under here. That one worked also. And now we're just stuck. So this is all pretty much used out. If we get hit, if you get a chance to short up here, go for it. Otherwise, it's going to be, as we start breaking down under here. Underneath this is just the air. That's it. It's over. There's nothing underneath us. That's that wick I kept talking about, and underneath that brings us all the way down to the next level. So the shorts are totally the way to go for BP. Okay. Cool. Canadian. Well, Canadian's been already the weakest, pretty much out of the currencies, right? This one already took out the middle, all right, that we keep talking about, right, and broke down into the next level of demand on the daily, right? We have a nice little lower high forming over here on the weekly chart, and being that, again, Canadian is connected with crude and also with the dollar, and they both seem to be going down, so, I'm expecting that this little bounce over here is just that. It's a shortable bounce. If we end up, a little bit higher somewhere over here, great short, or we'll have to catch it, turning over right where it is, because I think we're breaking down out of this demand zone. We're going to end up down here. 77,500 is the level we're looking for Canadian this week. Let's see if this short up there. Well, yeah, there's a spot. If it gets through this little thing over here, there's a couple of levels of supply. This one looks to be the best, 8,000, but I don't think we're going to see that. I'll be looking around 79.5, and again, breaking through the bottom after that. So short for Canadian totally. Okay. No questions yet. Everybody's quiet. Okay. Keep on going, baby. Pound through this sucker. Copper. Didn't really do much this week. However, it did on a Thursday put on this daily engulfing candle, and it's now made a higher low on the 240 back to the level. So that should really break. It did create one pullback over here with a higher low, which really is a buying opportunity, it looks like, right? We're chewing our way through this monthly supply zone over here. We had a little back test on the weekly, right? And now we reversed it, and now we just paused a little bit. So should be able to get through the top. Okay, on the copper here. See if there's a chance somewhere to get into the longs. Excuse me. Well, it's just both lagging right now, and there's no demand. There's no supply on top until we have new highs. So looks like a pretty decent long. If we pull back into this area under here tonight, 3.2. Sometimes it does a little funky move on Sunday nights, so just be careful. But I think long is the way to go here for copper. It looks like. Let's look for the target. Target seems to be up here on the 240. Looking for new demand. And fresh level should be something back up here. Yeah, there it is. Sorry, yeah, up here around 3 point. Yeah, back here at the top, I would say 3.35. Right around here, 3.32 is the top of this thing. We should get through there. So somewhere up here into the supply zones. On 240, beyond this last pivot is what we should be coming in copper. Okay. All right. Let's go look at soy, because that had a really nice move this week. Take a look at the weekly chart on soy. You see breakout of the wedge 2 weeks in a row. Bang, bang, bang. We landed in monthly supply again. Okay, so we should start to see a little bit of a pullback over there. We had a nice breakout of the wedge. We have to do a little back testing over here. There was a gap involved in this thing because it was rollover. So it's not all price action. Some of it is the gap. And I expect that to actually get back tested a little bit. So something about a long down around 1020-ish, down inside this thing. As we come to back test the rollover, that makes a lot of sense. We come up into here, 1010, 1012, 1014, something in that range, and then we look for the new highs after that. Okay, so I would say soy for now is probably wait until we pull back into the demand zones, then take the long. unless you're counter trender. Then you could sort of take some supply zones into the middle. There's the gap. And then the level that I really like for the long is underneath us over here. If we can get back down here into this area, right around 1020. So nice 25 point down, and then the new highs after that. So I'm going to be sitting again. Not really going to trade soy this week unless it gets down here. I'm much more interested in the crude and the gold and the equities. I think that's where all the action is going to be this week. Let's look at the bonds pretty quickly. Some people asked about it, so we'll take a look. We've landed in monthly demand. We've landed in weekly demand. It's a level we haven't seen in a couple of years. This is going to bounce hard up, right back to this little supply zone over here. It's breaking out of these lows. You see the little doji there? That's where it wants to go. Okay, this demand under here should have enough to get us there. Okay, so TY and the US and bouncing back to their breakout levels is what we're looking for. It should be a really harsh back test. We were in like a crash wave over here, breaking down out of the daily levels up here, and we're just like boom, 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 and now we're starting to break above a little bit. Usually that's a very violent reversal. Over here you see the reversal pattern, right? And then we should back test right to the level where we back tested over here, where we break away from. So somewhere up here we'll get the next turnover, but I think for the next day or two we're going to see strong moves up on the on the bonds, also because that the Fed has been trying to limit the market's crash, even because they are the ones that are going to be causing it with their sell-off. They've been shooting their mouth off for the last 2 days or so, with all the Fed speakers saying that it's not going to be as fast as we think. After the FOMC notes came out on Wednesday, and everyone's saying, oh, it's going to be 4 increases, and then all of a sudden, we get all the Fed guys out there because they don't want the market crashing, obviously, and they're trying to, to soften it, even though they're full of shit. They're going to do it anyway. They just don't want it to happen that fast. So the bounce here is really Fed shooting their mouth off, right? Because when the bonds sell off, the rates go up, right? And that's what we've been doing over here, because everyone's saying, oh, the interest rates are going up, interest rates going up, and now we've hit finally demand, and now the Fed's just starting to go, oh, well, maybe we won't raise it as fast, and bullshits like that, so it'll trickle back to the back test, and then when they realize that they've been duped, it will roll over again and start to make new lows, okay? So for now, a strong move up coming for the bonds, okay? You'd want to probably be long at this point. There's a couple levels of demand look really nice over here on the 60, right here. Pretty demand. It was the middle. It was supply. We hit this thing. We back test. Okay, we go like this. So for now, I would say you want to be leaning long. Okay. TY looks the same. I'll just show it to you on the higher time frame, and then we'll call it a day. So look at the bonds. You can see where they're doing on the daily. We get the twins a couple of days back. We pop up. We're going back to this little breakout area over here, right? And for that, could be a very nice move up. Over here, you can see it on the daily. I like this supply zone back there. 200 moving average on the 240 is sitting right inside fresh supply. So that's the level we were looking for this bounce back to come, and we should be rolling over out of that. All right, that's it for this week, folks. Be very careful if you're not used to quick moving markets. You're going to see some really wild action. What you've seen 2 weeks ago, it's back. It's coming this week. Okay, and get ready for it. Trade accordingly. Anybody else, welcome aboard. And if you're new, and otherwise, I'll see you guys next week. All the best. Trade safe, trade smart. We'll see you guys next week. Ciao.